My name is Zachary Burns. My call sign N8CAK. My DMRA ID is 313-9376. If you don't know what that is, you're in the right place. Today we're going to give you a little bit of overview of each of these three popular digital modes. One's called D-Star, one's called DMR, and one is called System Fusion. System Fusion being the newest. If you got questions, I got a website there, www.n8cak.com.
One on or off? That's what you think. You can turn it off if you rotate. Okay.
All right, I'll talk louder for you too. Go ahead. You can send an email to anything at n8cak.com and I'll get it. So heyjerk@n8cak.com, I'll get it. So if you got questions, if you're driving home and you're thinking, oh, he didn't cover this, I need more information, go ahead and shoot me a note there.
n8cak.com?
Correct. November 8, Zulu Alpha Kilo. November 8, Zulu Alpha Kilo. So again, we're just going to take a kind of a 30,000-foot view on each of these technologies. I'll give you a little bit of background on how digital voice works, and then we'll dive into some of the different technologies here. This, my wife's going to kill me, but she didn't understand when I was giving the presentation. So this is just kind of an overview as to some of the bandwidths that are, at least so you can visually compare them. We've got CW 2.7 kilohertz wide, AM is 6, FM, it's actually probably a little bit wider than that. It's be safe at 25, just in case you got a little, but it's probably right around 16, 20 kilohertz. And then some of the other modes over there, those are digital modes. GMSK, which is used by D-Star, TMRA, which is used by System Fusion, and DMR. You can actually see the widths there. D-Star being 6.25 kilohertz, which is almost the same as AM. And System Fusion's running 12.5 kilohertz, and DMR is also doing the same thing in a time slot format. We'll cover some of those too. But just keep that in mind, how much, when you hear some of these sounds and when you're sending data back and forth, that we're shoving all this stuff in something that's essentially the width of an AM signal. So you're putting a lot of data in there, and some of the chips that we're using in these devices actually, the work they're doing behind the scenes is kind of amazing. So how digital voice works, we'll do a little overview. So this is kind of a block diagram of how it works. There's essentially when you're talking into your HT, you're talking into your mic, you're putting analog in, and that's getting converted to data with an analog to digital encoder, a decoder or encoder, depends on which side of the stream you're at. But you can put speech in, audio, or you can put data in, whether it's photos, whether it's text messaging, whatever it is, it's got to get converted to digital. Now the secret sauce there is kind of in the middle. This is what's called a vocoder, and these vocoders are proprietary in all the digital modes. It's developed by a company called DVSI, and they create this ambi chip, which takes these zeros and ones that we're spitting out that got converted, and it's compressing them down. So for you young kids, think of this like a WAV file and an MP3 file. The WAV file, nice and clear, you can hear, every little thing, and then it gets compressed down to like an MP3. Fraction of the size, but your ear doesn't hear any of the difference. So that's kind of a way to think about what that vocoder chip is doing, is discarding all the external non-needed bits, essentially. Then we take and we package it up and we ship it off. So that packaging and framing information, each vendor, whether it's Yaesu does it one way, DMR does it another way, and D-Star put a little more thought into it. It was developed from strictly an amateur standpoint, whereas the other companies kind of took the commercial offerings and did it there. And then we just modulated over So this is in the process, in that modulation process, when we send it off, there's actually 3 different types of modulation techniques used in digital video. One's called GMSK, Gaussian minimum shift keying. There's actually like scientists that work on this stuff. So, I mean, that's their lives to come up with some crazy whatever it is. And I don't understand all of it, but it's just used. GMSK is an older technology used actually in the cell phone networks, and when D-Star was created, D-Star took this GMSK modulation technique and used that. The second one is called DQBSK, or 4-minute high something something, essentially. It's not used, so we're not going to cover it. But it's complicated. You need linear amplifiers and things to make it happen, so it gets expensive. So it's not used in digital voice. The last one here is the one that's kind of all the rage nowadays. It's called C4FM, continuous 4-level FM modulation. And as you can see, it's rather simple to put together, and it's cheap. So that's why, and it sounds good. So that's why manufacturers are jumping on board with C4FM. It's kind of a newer technique. The second part of DB voice is what's called a communication type. And think of this, you young kids probably don't know what a modem is, right? Squealing and honking and connecting your bulletin board together and connecting the internet, probably not. You old timers know what modems were, right? So that back here, that modulation technique, this was kind of like pick up the phone and you got a carrier there. That squealing and honking was kind of, how do I connect from this side to that side? This communication type was the next piece, is how do I get this to there? Is it X modem? Is it Y modem? Is it Z modem? Remember those back in the day? That was kind of, what you kind of think is what layer is happening. So what's interesting about this is we've got 2 kind of standards out there. There's FDMA, frequency division multiple access, and we have TDMA, which is time division multiple access. If you can think of the one on the left there, that's FDMA, and it's 2 6.25 kilohertz channels. So what does that mean? So in D-Star we're using 1 6.25 kilohertz channel, which if you want to put 2 D-Star repeaters in place, you need 2 sets of frequencies. So let's say you've got a D-Star repeater on 440, you're using one of those, either the red chunk or the blue chunk, depending, whatever it is. But essentially, it's one of the 2 6.25 kilohertz channels. Fusion uses both, so it's using essentially 12.5 kilohertz. Fusion uses the whole chunk of 12.5 kilohertz. DMR uses a whole 12.5 kilohertz, but they do it in time slices. So the repeater's on, off, on, off, on, off, and it's doing this. The issue is on D-Star and on Fusion, one person's using that frequency at a time. So you're talking on the repeater, and you're it. You're the guy that's in there. You're using that frequency. You're using that channel. And so DMR came along and they said, you know what? I can take 12.5 kilohertz and I can slice it up. 2 guys can use the same frequency and talk to 2 different places. One can go to local, one can go across the world. It's kind of how it works. It's using that time slot method. It's still using that big chunk, but it's servicing more people. So that's why the DMR guys are excited about this. Is hey, when somebody's on D-Star, they're taking it up. Maybe I want to get on there and talk to somebody else. Well, you kind of can within the D-Star world. So that kind of helps you visualize what's kind of happening behind the scene. And we're not going to dig into the craziness here. I'll just give you an overview. You can see that this is kind of the last piece of the puzzle. Is what's that secret sauce that DMR uses? What's the secret sauce that D-Star uses? D-Star is an open protocol. So you're going to actually, when you go back and do some research on your own, if you want to buy the vocoder chip, because that's the only thing that's proprietary in the whole mess, and implement your own D-Star protocol, you can. There's a lot of people that have done it for you and can probably do it cheaper, so I'll show you some of those devices at the end. Anyway, essentially what's here is there's a synchronization bit, or a few synchronization bits. There's, in that radio packet header, there's a destination repeater call sign, there's an origination repeater call sign, there's where's it going, who am I, and then there's the data. There's voice and data. D-Star is kind of neat that you can key up the mic and start talking, and on the other guy's radio it says, hey, here comes N8ZAK from Perrysburg. You can actually put data in the stream. So guys will do that. They'll say, hey, I'm running an IP51 or something like that. So you can, as you're driving along, hey, I heard N8ZAK. Oh, they're scrolling across the screen. I better get back on the road. But it's one of those things where D-Star did it right from the standpoint of they took an amateur and they knew they had a call sign and they knew that there were repeaters out there with WAHHF. They knew that the amateur might want to connect somewhere else to a destination repeater. So all these little frames or packets are sequentially laid out. And the internet, think of, I don't know, the way I think of it, being a software guy, is I think of it as TCP and UDP. I don't know. Let's boil it down to Skype or another communication method. I don't know what's out there, but essentially if you want to chat with one of your buddies, your packets and streams and data is going flying through the internet. If a packet gets lost, it just keeps on going. So the same thing's happening here at D-Star. If packet 1 gets there, packet 2 gets there, packet 5 gets there, and then packet 4 arrives, it just throws it away. It knows, hey, this one's out of sync. So that's what those sync bits are for. DMR does it kind of the same way, but all the amateur information's gone. This came out of the commercial space. So, and I'll dig into some of the whole red lines and all that kind of stuff. And Fusion, they're the newest kid on the block. They can actually interleave voice and data also. I won't spend a lot of time on that. D-Star stands for Digital Smart Technologies for Amateur Radio. It was designed by the Japanese Amateur Radio League. I think the government probably had a little bit of involvement too, but essentially the Japanese did this back in 1999, 2000. They came up with the specifications. And again, it was developed for the amateur, for the ground up, so we saw call signs, and we saw repeaters and that kind of thing in that packet information. So I think it was designed correctly. They did what they could at the time where they used GMSK modulation. It was out there. That was probably it. They used the AMBE chip, which essentially at that time, in the late 90s, that was it for compression. What else can I say about the origins? Product-wise, you really didn't see, the standard was out there. So the standard was out there in the early 2000s. Products really didn't come along until probably 2003, 2004. You'll see some early products from Kenwood. Those were pretty much on the Japanese side. They're real rare radios to find, so if you can find one, probably pick one up. It'll be going on the archives somewhere. But Icon really took the ball and started rolling with it in 2003, 2004. And then something happened along the way, I'd say 2010, 2011, the infrastructure started getting out there. So who's going to spend $800 on a radio and not have anybody to talk to? There were no repeaters. It was big in Japan. That's a nice little easy island to saturate with equipment. But in America, it's kind of a bigger shoot of it's a lot more land to fill. Exactly. Repeaters all over the place. So, but Icon made a deal back in 2011, 2012, where they were actually selling clubs repeaters at a massively discounted price. So I think that's when you saw a lot of the infrastructure coming along was in that time frame. And it's popular nowadays. The radios are getting cheaper. Even Kenwood's coming out and start to make D-Star radios nowadays again too. So again, it's an open standard. Anybody can build a radio if they want to. So again, here's how D-Star works. We kind of covered some of this. Again, you can. The important part here is you can interleave voice and data at the same time. So I'm talking and it's sending data as well as my voice. So it's two things happening at once. And before I dig into some of the sound bites we're going to hear, why is digital voice important? Why is it better than FM? We say better in quotes. That kind of area in green is kind of the benefits we get. So up at the very top of the left here, we get pretty good, excellent sound quality from FM, I would say. Sounds like you're in the same room. FM starts to drop off the farther you get from the repeater, and if you got a noisy guy going into the repeater, if he's on the fringe and you're on the fringe, it's pretty tough. Where digital kind of outperforms FM is on the fringe there. It sounds good. It sounds good. I wouldn't say it sounds as good as FM. It sounds good, but you're really getting that improved performance on the weak side and on the edge of where FM would start to fall off. And we'll hear some of this in a minute. If you hear this, your radio's in FM mode. And if you're kind of the guy that's in the shack and you hear that, you know that's digital happening. That's actually D-Star digital behind the scenes. So don't key up over that guy. He's having a conversation. Your FM will blow him out of the water. So you can he's probably running, you can run 5 watts. You can take 5 watts of FM and just kill him and kill the signal. So there's some guys that do simplex D-Star, and it's kind of neat because you're kind of like in the secret club, like when guys put up the beam and they just want to talk to their guy, and this guy over here off to the side doesn't hear. I don't have the property that I can kind of do that, but so D-Star's kind of neat. I can take out my HT, sit at my kitchen table, have a simplex conversation, with the guy in the next city over, and all an FM guy will hear is just that noise. But what it really sounds like is something like this. This is FM, just as a comparison. So we got something to kind of tune our ears into.
Testing 1, 2, 3. This is NHCAK testing FM mode from an ID880 to an ICOM ID51. This is FM 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. NHCAK clear.
So that was just FM. It sounds good. There was no digital artifacts, nothing like that. That was me in the shack. Literally a foot from the other radio. Here's D-Star.
NHCAK testing, this is D-Star. This is D-Star on an ID880 to an ICOM ID51. Testing 1, 2, 3. This is D-Star.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, about equalization. Yeah, you can kind of change just like you have mic gain, you can do the same thing in radio. They do have a little bit, I want more bass, I want more treble. It's not sophisticated, but it's there. So that was D-Star. It might have been kind of hard to tell, but there was a little bit of, my wife calls it robotic, computer sounding. To me, it sounds okay. Where it really starts out performance here.
This is K7JL testing D-Star. This is a test transmission for the purpose of evaluating propagation effects on digital and analog transmissions. This transmission will now repeat in digital. This is K7JL.
So we heard
this is K7JL testing D-Star. This is a test transmission for the purpose of evaluating propagation effects on digital and analog transmissions. This transmission will now repeat in analog. This is K7JL.
So we could hear at the beginning that kind of picket fencing, the static that you get with FM. And then he switched over to D-Star, and that kind of went away. So it was relatively clear. There was no wind noise, whatever you want to call it, static. Here's somebody that's on the fringe. So they're in that weak zone where FM starts to sound pretty bad. Here's kind of how that guy on the fringe sounds with these stuff.
Evaluating propagation effects on digital and analog transmissions. This transmission will now receive digital. This is K7JL.
He's almost
K7J, 110 D-Star. This is a test transmission for the purpose of evaluating propagation.
What's that noise? Sounds like R2D2 in there. That's what they call it. That's kind of what we call it, is falling off the cliff when he's just on the fringe. FM kind of degrades nicely. I mean, it's weak. You can hear it. I think if I was in public, like if I was a firefighter and I was trapped in a building, I think I'd almost prefer FM over a digital mode. You know, help by falling through the floor. If you kind of hear me, I think he said floor, you know, whatever it was, or help, probably the most important word. Whereas D-Star, those packets can fall off, and that's it. So, I don't know, I'm still kind of an FM guy from a public safety standpoint. Maybe it's because they're going encrypted and I can't hear them anymore on the scanner. I don't know, maybe it's a little bit of bias there. But on that fringe is kind of where it's nice. You can, it's still clear, but we heard some drop off there, some R2D2 where some of those packets kind of fell off. And D-Star's got an issue where it doesn't recover nicely, where some of the other modes like TMRA and Fusion. Here's a real weak station.
Okay, I found a place to turn on. This is KC5ZRQ on digital. Can you hear me?
Digital sounds good.
Okay, I'm going to switch to FM. So let's go ahead and switch to FM.
Let's see how
This is KC5ZRQ on digital audio. We're going to change over to FM. And this is KC5ZRQ on FM.
You can almost not hear him. So that's kind of where D-Star had that extra little bit of punch. He's right on the edge.
Roger, can you hear?
D-Star.
Okay, what does it sound like when I was on FM? Did you hear me okay? Really, I can hear you. Maybe you would.
So that's kind of some of just a flavor of D-Star compared to FM. And remember that FM signal when I was in the shack. We'll kind of, you know, think of FM, a nice kind of clear signal. It's got good tones, good range. When we start seeing the other modes here. D-Star, some of the pros and cons. It's easy to program. The only issue with digital is you've actually got to register your call sign with somebody. There's some reasoning behind this. If you're concerned about privacy, you're in the wrong hobby. Everybody can kind of pick your, you know, they can listen to you on FM, they can listen to you on D-Star. Just be aware that your stuff your repeater may be linked up around the world. So, you know, if you got bad things to say about Donald Trump, you might not want to have him launched, you know, across the repeaters and reflectors of the internet. But again, it's easy to program. I think it's the easiest to program. I can take a radio out of the box. I can put in my call sign. Once I register with my local repeater guy, I can talk worldwide. So it's got another interesting mode that none of the other digital modes have. It's called call sign routing. Call sign routing is kind of the beauty of D-Star. If you're a traveler or if you've got a buddy that travels you want to talk to all the time, you can actually punch into your radio, find N8ZAK, and the system knows what the last repeater was. So if I'm in Chicago, it goes, hey, N8ZAK was in Chicago. I don't have to plug in that repeater. I don't have to plug in any of that information. I just say, find N8ZAK, N8ZAK, this is ZAK. But anyway, you know, you essentially call your guy, it goes out that Chicago repeater, and if I'm still there, I can respond to whatever. So none of the other modes have that call sign routing. Again, D-Star, we were talking about this before. D-Star, when ICOM kind of gave those club deals, Clubs bought in and they started putting up some infrastructure. So there's a lot of repeaters, reflectors, all that stuff's out there. You might not find it in small town America, but we got a solution for that as long as there's internet. Voice and data at the same time. Again, you can actually hook your computer up to your HT and you can actually talk to somebody and send pictures back and forth. You can be in a DRATS chat room. There's all kinds of other little things to play with. So that's kind of neat. And if you're an experimenter, if you like building your own toys, the D-Star protocol is open. You can get the vocoder chip because you're a licensed ham. You can actually call up DVSI and say, send me a vocoder chip, and they'll do it for 20 bucks. Some of the cons here, though, there's limited manufacturers. And I said, if you're not an experimenter, there's limited manufacturers. There's ICOM and Kenwood's back in the game now, too. So I haven't played with the Kenwood unit. It looks nice. If anybody has, fill us in if you can. A con is you've got to register. And you've got to register, how can I say this? Depending on what network you're using, D-Star has a couple different flavors. So at the repeater site, we link it up to all the other repeaters, the other reflectors, using a certain protocol. The Canadians were a little concerned about privacy, so they actually created something called the X-Reflector Network. You really don't have to register your call sign. We ran that for a while, but you've got to do special things, and it caused us kind of some headaches as far as, hey, I'm trying to issue the commands that it says in my manual, but it's not doing what it's supposed to. Well, we kind of changed some of our commands to get the Canadian side to work, the American side to work, whatever. So there's a couple different flavors to play with. If you want more information on that, let me know. That's called the D-Star, or the X-Reflector network, in addition to the D+ network. So the problem is you bought a $600 HT at the Hamfest today, you go home, you can talk simplex, but you can't use that worldwide communication until the guy that answers your registration request on your local repeater. I try to get to him quickly, so because I know you just spent $600 on that radio and you want to use it. Throw out the manual. The manuals that come with these they're tough. They're tough to read. They're real bad to read. I don't know if it's just the way it translates from Japanese to American or whatever it was, but it's pretty bad. There's actually a book online. It's called D-Star for Dummies. One of the hams in Columbus actually created this to kind of solve the problem of the manual's horrible. So it talks about everything in there, how to program your radio. It's got pictures in there for us guys that don't like to read either. So you can essentially, D-Star for Dummies, you can look through that. There's actually a link on TMRA's website too. Yes, sir. Like if you wanted to connect to... okay. Good question. I'm not sure I have an answer for that. Usually, if you can look up the repeater, so WAHHF, that's TMRA's repeater, then you got to hunt down a website, that kind of scenario. So we want you to register with a local repeater owner, but if you shoot an email off and you haven't heard from them in a couple days, pick another repeater that's theoretically close by, and we'll register you for you. All this stuff goes into a big pile. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's take Mr. AC8AZ. Go ahead.
Thank you. I applied, and I've heard very good things about the T74 Kenwood radio, but it speaks out everything, all things. Which for me, that would be good, but the only problem is it's D-Star. And I'm hearing that fusion is really the way to go because it's good for future company with both analog and digital, but there isn't anything out there that's user-friendly for blind or visually impaired.
I think you're correct. I think you're correct on D-Star. Actually, the little lady on my D-Star radio, she will talk to me, so it'll say N-A-Z-A-K when it sees my name come across. So you can actually know who came across. You don't have to look at the screen. You can actually turn on some of the menus to actually talk to you, so you know where you are. I think for let's just say for the visually impaired, we've got a couple guys in town that are visually impaired. They like DMR because they just turn a knob. Yeah. It's turn on, turn a channel, and you're good. So we're going to get to DMR, and I think that's probably where you might fit in. So we're going to give you all a little bit of flavor of that. Jim?
We had a V-Star computer on our own island in the middle of nowhere. Can we register to that V-Star without internet connection? Now, if we then, the same people who were using the local DMR, the local V-Star repeater, they go to Chicago or someplace, are they now registered to the rest of the network? Or are
Once you register, you're registered. So you're registered worldwide. So you got to get off the island to register, or before you go to the island, register your call sign.
Okay, so it can't be done locally with no, not.
You can still use D-Star locally,
But you can't.
but you can't connect out
The rest of the world.
Correct. It needs to go through the gateway, unless they've got the extra. That's running D+, which is. I can talk to you after. You really got a question on that, because the Canadian guys came up. They said, you know what? I don't want. With D-Star, you're actually sending voice and data. That data could be GPS, APRS. It knows where you're at. All these radios can have GPS built in. So the Canadians were like, hey, I'm on the road, I'm talking with my AT&T. The burglar knows I'm not at home. You know, so they had some issues with that. So they came up with the extra reflector network where you can choose to either not get your information out across the network or choose to do so. So that's kind of one of the benefits there.
Zach, we got a question. Are you going to put this up on the website?
Yes, yes. Again, here's some pricing. The little blue device up top, you don't have to have a radio at all. You can spend $200, plug it into your computer at home. You're talking D-Star. So if you like sitting in front of the computer with a headset on and talking to your buddy who's out on the road or whatever, you can get that little device up there and do that. So you're looking here to get into the D-Star club. It's going to cost you $200. It could go upwards, depending if you're buying mobile radios, up to $700-800 $1,000. Depends on what you want to get into. These HTs are wonderful. The original, if you find an ID 81, 91, 92, I'm going to tell you to pass. You'll probably get them at a bargain, but they're hard to program. They're the old knobs, plug it into a computer, upload stuff, keying in stuff. It can be complicated. These, they've got GPS built in. Let's say you travel on the road. You can take out your HT and say, find me the closest repeater. It knows where you are, GPS. It can plug all that stuff in there. Done. It's like a 30-second deal. So if you're a traveler, D-Star's your ticket. I think that's what you want. The mobile radios down here, they've got touchscreen too, so it's actually something that can work if you're driving. Click, click, click. The menus kind of prompt you through the system. So that's D-Star. DMR stands for Digital Mobile Radio. Digital Mobile Radio, it's just a standard. Motorola, you might have heard Moto Turbo. That's Motorola's trademark implementation of the DMR protocol. DMR was started probably back in 2005 or so. With DMR, a bunch of groups came together, Motorola, Itera, all these other groups kind of came up with this standard and said, you know what, we're going to sign a memorandum. We're not going to put stuff on our radio that'll make it non-interoperable with your radio. So the DMR standard, everybody kind of signed a little backroom handshake deal and said, you know what, my radio, my Motorola is going to work with your Itera. My Itera is going to work with your TYT. So a $1,000 radio works with a $100 radio. We're all going to implement the standard just fine. In practice, it's a little bit different. In theory, it makes sense. In practice, Motorola says, hey, we got this feature. And so they're trying to differentiate, but essentially it will all work together. Again, here's kind of that packet overview. We're either sending voice or we're sending data. We got the synchronization packets on the beginning there, so it knows what order packets are coming along. And these little red lines and kind of this is the repeater talking back to your radio. That's it. With DMR, we got that 2-slot thing, right? We've got slot 1 and slot 2, slot 1, slot 2. So your radio, as soon as you key up, you pick the slot. You're either on time slot 1 or time slot 2. The repeater owner can kind of set this stuff up, but it's got to synchronize back and forth. So if you go to key up, the repeater can actually send back to your radio, hey, somebody's already talking here, you know, and stop your radio from transmitting. So that's kind of like just a little bit of a hey, repeater can kind of talk back to your radio, make sure its time slots are synchronized correctly. It's kind of, you can dig into this and it'll melt your brain a little bit. So just know that it kind of works the same. Again, this is DMR as it's heard from an FM user. They call it, it sounds like a motorboat. And that was TMRA, so that was a repeater talking back and forth. And I think that motorboat, if you hear it, it's almost like time slot 1, time slot 2, time slot 1, time slot 2, really fast. So that's kind of that motorboat effect. Yes, sir. A little bit different. That's actually somebody on simplex. So remember what FM sounded like. It sounds a little more robotic, I think, but it's recovering a little bit better. I don't know if you guys can hear that in the back. Turn it up a little bit. So here's a guy that threw his call sign out. Hey, I'm on local 2. Kind of hear a little bit of packet loss, but it recovered well.
Yeah, one of them this one did, and pretty disappointed. I was hoping I could get by with that. Bought a really nice thing.
Yeah, you broke up on weekend, right? Yeah, by the time something happened. It looks like you're using the J's HD, I guess.
This is all digital.
Repeat that again, what happened with the tablet.
It just doesn't connect to the remote, dude. I'm pretty bummed out. I'll probably be taking that one back in the morning.
Yeah, which app did you use, Jake? There's a lot of confusion. The Go app, and then there's the Go 4. You're trying the 4 version.
So they were talking about their quadcopters and stuff like that. So, to me, it sounds good. You can hear a little bit of when it dropped off, but it was not as bad as D-Star. It's almost like it just went bloop and came right back and recovered. So, like one of the packets got lost or whatever the issue might have been, but it recovered quickly. Some DMR pros and cons. So, right now, if you're on the fence, DMR sounds good. It's cheap. You can pick up these radios for like 120 bucks. It's an open protocol. The sound quality is good. It recovered. There were some packet errors there, but it was tough for you to discern and tough to pick out. Battery life. Remember that 2 slot? Your transmitter's on. It's not on continuously like it is with D-Star and FM. It's not a constant trigger down. Let's go. It's your radio's on off behind the scenes. People are saying you're getting 40 to 50% better battery life out of your HTs because it's not constantly transmitting. It's doing that. Easy to use. To our visually impaired friends, I think they are easier to use. There's an on button and there's a channel button. And you find a club or a friend that'll help you set that up, and you can get some of these radios that actually say, when you turn the channel, it'll say you're on channel 2, whatever it is. And I think they're more blind friendly than D-Star. So look into that. I can point you in the right direction, Bob. If you've, I got a couple people locally. We can point you in the right direction.
Okay, thank you.
Cost, new and used. You can pick them up cheap. Whether it's a Motorola unit you get for cheap, it came out of the commercial space. That's where DMR originated. DMR originated out of the commercial space. Hams do what hams do. They took it and adopted it and made it for amateur radio. So cost is some of the stuff, again, coming out of China. We were talking before, you know, the Baofangs and the TYTs and all this other stuff. It's China, it's throwaway, but it's cheap to get in to see if you like it. The radios aren't as easy to program with DMR. In fact, I call it impossible to program without a computer. You know, here's a $120 radio. There's two knobs on the top. There's an on-off knob, volume knob, and there's the channel knob. That's it. There's buttons on the front for working a menu and using it on FM if you need to. So not a lot of, I mean, you need the programming capabilities to work. There's limited infrastructure, and I say limited from the standpoint, yes sir? You are correct. Yes. The stuff coming out of China, if you, and you're right. Correct. Think about DMR. DMR, you're probably going to, in fact, I'm not aware of a manufacturer that makes dual band radios. Yeah. So with DMR, you got to pick UHF or you got to pick VHF. DMR. Okay, thank you.
So you can get more mileage if you go VHF versus UHF?
I think you're going to find more activity on UHF because those VHF pairs are hard to find. And your local clubs and repeater owners, they still got their FM legacy stuff and they're holding on to those pairs. I mean, to find a 2-meter pair, it's tough. Yeah, so you're finding a lot of 440 pairs, and even the, thank you, and even the 440 pairs, you're getting the 6 1/4 kilohertz stepping or whatever it is. So you're coming up with a frequency of 444 5125. You gotta change the radios. It's kind of a pain in the butt. But again, back to some cons. There's limited infrastructure, but it's growing. So when your radio is talking to your local repeater and that's linked up to the internet. We call it linked up to the internet. We have a C bridge or a, what's the newer one that's kind of all the rage is the Brandmeister, where they come up with these names. But essentially that's the gateway that's linking all these different talk groups and rooms and reflectors and stuff like that together. So the network, I call it in flux, but it's growing rapidly.
On that programming that you're talking about, is that where you have programs to like repeater A and B in your area?
Correct.
In the road, there's F and G. It won't work.
With DMR, you've got to know 3 or 4 different things. You got to know the frequency, number one. You got to know what's called a color code. You've got to know a time slot, and these you've got to get from the repeater guy, the repeater owner. You know, so NAEFJ, he's one of our local DMR repeater owners, and you know you got to plug into your programming software 442-850 or 444-850, color slot 1, time slot 2. Then you're plugging in groups. You know, whether you want to plug in your talk group of California East or I guess California East would be Nevada, but you know, north, south, whatever it is. So there's a little. To me, it's complicated. I think it's a little more complicated than D-Star. Yes, sir.
Are those available online?
Yes. They're called code plugs, and I think that has a history for some of you old timers. I don't know what a code plug is. I think that's with crystal radios and all that kind of stuff.
Correct.
Okay. Older Motorola equipment. Okay, yeah.
Not so old.
Not so old, right. Call sign is not equal to DMR ID. So you can buy the $120 radio, take it home, use it simplex fine. You got an ID with your call sign, right? The FCC doesn't know what 3139. Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Okay. So. Okay. So.
How do IDs talk to the DMR signals? Just voice?
Yeah, just voice. I mean.
So it's an open format. They can monitor if you're being identifiable by voice on the digital.
On the digital side, yes. An FM user won't hear.
Okay.
FCC knows that when they hear the that's just digital noise. They know your radio behind the scenes when it's keying down is keying down 313, 9160, whatever your DMRA ID is. It's happening behind the scenes. But the FCC doesn't recognize that as a number, as a valid call sign. So you still kind of got to ID with your call sign, yes. Terminology to me was confusing. Color code, code plug, talk group. There is a little bit of a bridge between the two, whether it's D-Star, DMR Fusion. Again, no dual band radios.
One more.
Yes.
Have you heard about the Hytera Motorola lawsuit? Is that going to?
I did hear about that. I believe they settled that.
Just in the last week or two.
Maybe that's a different lawsuit. There's some lawsuits happening over this stuff. That must be a newer one. Yes, sir.
Can't you like the old analog AM radio talk to this?
No, but you can on D-Star.
Because what I saw down at my sort of Indiana, I saw that they have like 146 dots up there or another, but it says it's late.
I'm going to say no, but I'm going to say yes. You'll see it in a little bit. No and yes.
We had a 442 of this. It's late somehow.
Correct. A lot of repeater owners behind the scenes, they're having the issue too, right? Do I put up a D-Star? Do I put up a DMR? Do I put up a Fusion repeater? Well, at the repeater site, they can actually link in an Echo Link node, an IRLP node, whatever it is. They can link that stuff in behind the scenes and tie it all together, and you can actually issue a tone to jump over to an analog side. So you can do that kind of linking behind the scenes. It's not out of the box. So we can dig into that. Pricing, excuse me again, you'll have the stuff coming out of China, the TYTs, they're $125. Motorola stuff gets quite a bit more expensive. There's actually Vertex Standard. I don't know how they actually make DMR stuff too. So that's the commercial side of Yaesu. So we're going to dive into Yaesu real quick. I'm over time, but we'll see how fast we can blow through this. Yes, sir.
To the gentleman over here on the right that's asking about the lawsuit. I don't know which one, but if you go and listen to the podcast for both amateur radio, Newsline, and Newsline, amateur radio, whatever it is, that one is, they mentioned it on there. Okay, thanks.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Bob. So the origins with Fusion. Years ago, 2005, 2006, I believe Motorola and Yaesu, I think they were in bed together for a little bit. Yeah. And then they kind of spun back out. So I'm thinking some of the technology behind System Fusion probably came when they were at Motorola. So that's a guess here. I don't know. It's not official. But essentially this I think it's Yaesu's attempt at not being left behind. Let's be honest. I mean, if you're not Motorola, some of the big guys, you're not Icon, Yaesu didn't have a digital product. So they did a smart thing, and they sold these repeaters for next to nothing. They got to be losing money on every one they sell. Essentially, these DR1X repeaters, offered them up to the clubs for $500. I think every club in the nation, if you had $500 in the kitty, you spend it on a on a Yaesu System Fusion repeater. What's the benefit? You can run FM and digital on the repeater. So everybody's got an FM radio. So Yaesu was like, hey, great. Everybody's got an FM radio. We'll slowly get them into digital. The guys won't have to shell out $600 on a new radio to get into D-Star DMR. And it's working. I mean, these repeaters are cropping up all over the place. So this happened a couple years ago. There were several firmware iterations that needed to be installed on these repeaters. So it's a little bit of work for the repeater owners. But the technology is even coming along where there's another add-on device called a Wires Xbox that turns this FM digital local repeater into now a worldwide repeater, just like ICOM's stack and the DMR stack. We kind of went through this before. It's got synchronization package. You can interlace voice, and there's a little bit of data there. Nothing to write home about. it's essentially just your TMRA ID. You can either send voice or you can either send data. You hear that on your FM? That was Fusion heard from an FM side.
Well, that's what the lot meter says.
You know what? Let me go back to it. But essentially, this is I created a fake club. My wife is a member, the dog's a member. Essentially, just so I could. Initially, it was just a club that would get these repeaters. So I created one just so I could get a hold of a repeater for $500. Set it up in the basement just to test it out. Now it's out in the real world somewhere, so I guess it's a real club. But you know, this was just the basement testing it. So you're actually looking at a repeater and you're hearing digital and FM here. So you can actually see what the repeater looks like and why the repeater owners like it, because it's easy to work with.
Well, that's what the lot meter says. Now, I'm not sure how accurate that this one.
We're talking digital right now.
It's at least tells me transmitting.
And you can see on the front of the radio there's auto and there's fixed mode. So your auto is going to be like, you can set it out in the field, set it to auto, and it knows whether it's FM or digital. Yes, sir? Correct. That's the beauty, is you take these guys that have FM radios. Actually, you know what, I'll stop this because I know we're short on time. But this is digital, sounds good. Okay, Dan, no problem. Yeah, he was running 2 watts or something like that. And I mean, you can get into there pretty quick, pretty easily. But to address your comment there, you are correct. The beauty of Fusion is I got an old FM radio, HT. My buddy just bought a Fusion digital radio, one of the new digitals. You can either talk FM to FM, or you can talk FM, go into the repeater, and the repeater will spit it out digital, or you can do digital in and FM out. So guys are buying new digital radios, and it's going out on FM. So great for like your marathons or whatever it is. Yes, sir.
Our goal was weak handhelds.
Weak handhelds.
More clear and coming out on analog. That was our whole goal.
And we have that issue, like the local Toledo Glass City Marathon. We got guys that are out way out west on the course trying to use a handheld, and it's tough. I mean, they need a mobile, it's what they need. But that's where digital can kind of pack that punch.
Digital is like amplifying your
Remember that FM signal that was 16 kilohertz, 20 kilohertz? Digital's down here, but you're taking that 4 or 5 watts, and it's got a punch.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at it on a scope, it's tight, it's in there. Fusion guys, I know some of you guys drove a long way to see Fusion. We can talk about it after, and I'll say after. We'll just wrap these up real quick. It's easy to program. You bought a $400 radio. Out of the box, it works. You don't have to register with anybody. Your call sign's in there. It just works. No getting a hold of a repeater owner. No trying to figure out what color code you need. You plug in the frequency and you go. It's just, do I talk FM or do I talk digital? It's easy to use. You want to come up and see one of these? Here, everybody recognizes this style. It's from like the VX6, the VX8, 8X. They would carry the same thing, so every button does 10 different things. But it's easy to use. The new mobile radios, they're nice color screens. They're easy to look at. And the degradation when it comes to falling off that cliff and coming right back, it's not like D-Star where you're hearing R2D2. You just fall off and you come right back. I mean, this is stuff on the fringe. Some cons here. I think Yates is starting to fix some of these here. I don't know that they'll ever fix the first one. You got a single manufacturer. It's just Yates who's making this stuff. They haven't published the real standard behind the protocol. They haven't said, here, we'll license you to use this. So there's a single manufacturer. It can be complicated. to have a system like this propagate unless you can get multiple manufacturers in there. My first 4 or 5 radios were EH2 radios, so I'm not married to them. Again, this is proprietary. The repeater capabilities are in flux right now. Most repeater owners have it set in either digital auto mode, so if you're coming in FM or digital, it'll just work. The Wires X stuff now, where you can link it up to the internet, that stuff, it's $125 to buy that box. You can link it up, you can connect worldwide, so it's growing real quick. And again, the FM and digital capabilities are up to the repeater owner. I've got one where it's just set FM. You go in FM, you come out FM. You go in digital, you're coming out FM. Essentially, it was just like I'm going to support the FM guys for a while until they get up to speed, and then I'll turn them loose. Again, single manufacturer, pricing ranging $300 to $500. You can pick up an HT for $300. The mobile unit down here, color screen, touch screen. People seem to like those. The secret is that mobile radio, there's 2 of those inside every repeater. So we're kind of, is this a full duty cycle repeater or not? And there's some issues there. So I think Yaesu's the next repeater might be a little beefier, but still it's fun. Okay, I got a couple minutes. This is real quick. So what do I choose, right? Do I pick System Fusion? Do I pick DMR? Do I pick D-Star? You almost don't have to choose. You got a couple different options. I'll go through real quick. See me after if you want to get some more information on this. You can take an existing digital HT, whether it's DMR, Fusion, and you can actually hack those. So you can hack a D-Star radio to work. Actually, you can hack a DMR, the $125 radio. Do your $125 radio, hack that. You can hack that and actually have it work on the System Fusion network or the D-Star network. So you can do that with some hacker dude figured this out. You can upload a new firmware to it and it'll work. I haven't done it. $100 is $100. I don't know what I'm doing. See, it's still UHF or VHF because that's all that's in here is just the UHF. You can hack the handheld, but again, this is only transmitting on 440. You'd have to.
Multiple digital modes at a time.
This, if you hack it, you can do DMR and D-Star and Fusion on this radio.
Just one at a time, though, right?
One at a time, correct.
Yeah.
I mean.
No, but I mean, you got to don't you have to read the firmware to switch modes or no?
I think you can plug in the chip. I haven't done it, so you can actually, each channel, I think you can say this is a DMR, this is a D-Star, so.
Well, the open spot is here.
Yes.
What model is that? 380?
That's the 380, I think you can do it with the 392. Again, there's other options out here, but you're tied. You got an HT, you go anywhere, right? There's other options, there's DB Mega, DB4 Mini, Open Spot. There's other manufacturers other than TYT. If you want to get some cheap stuff, there's the Connect Systems, the Baofangs. There's all these little devices.
Does the DMR work with the GPS, so like we start where
Say that again?
Okay. D-Star, I understand, has the GPS, right?
Correct. DMR does not have, well, DMR does have GPS, but it's the 390. You'd have to get it with an extra module. I'm not sure I don't want to steer you away from it, but yes, sir.
Doesn't the open spot let you use DMR radio to talk to the
Yes.
network?
And so that's the beauty. There's other devices. If you've already got a D-Star, you've already got a DMR, you've already got a Fusion radio, and you want to talk, you got to have the internet. So that's the issue. You got to have the internet, and you got to have a device that will actually do essentially it's doing the modulation behind the scenes. The protocols are open, so they've done some of the work for you. The vocoder's all on your radio, so that's kind of a common thing. Prices ranging from $125 to $300, depending on what you want to do. But again, you need the internet there. You can get these little. If you live out in the country, you can't hit your local repeater, but you still want to drive the tractor, cut the grass. You can use have your HT on your belt, and have this connected in wherever, works great. Then you're also getting a little Raspberry Pi, you're hooking that in, and you need power, so you got to get the little USB battery bank to kind of hook it all together, because you need that internet to tie it all together. So there's options here. The one in the lower right-hand corner was my kind of first, foray into taking non-D-Star equipment and making it D-Star. So you can take, as long as your radio will do 9600 baud out the back, you can take a couple Yaesu transceivers, hook them in through a GMSK modem, come out D-Star on the other side. So if you need, these things are nice, but they're only like, 10 milliwatts or something like that. So you're going to get maybe half a mile down the road, and then it's going to fall off. So you can actually create
Linear amplifiers, not Class C.
to crank those up. Is that your?
Or a handheld.
No. Actually, like the little MFJs, some of those little $60 ones or so. Those work on D-Star. I haven't tried it with anything else.
TMRA with handshakes.
I don't know. I haven't tested it.
Do I have to be Class A linear?
Couldn't tell you. We can find out though. Shoot me a note at atnk.com. We'll find out for you. These other things, it makes it possible to bridge existing networks, so you can go in D-Star, come on DMR, whatever. You can save some money if you just want to use your existing radio and not have to spend some more money on other things. And the other guy doesn't know. He doesn't know you're talking D-Star to a DMR network. Don't tell him either. No, you can tell. It's fine. It's tough to make portable. Again, you're dragging around a Raspberry Pi, another device, etc. You got to know things about your router, port forwarding, so it can be complicated, and it's difficult if you travel. You're lugging stuff around. The hotel might not let you port forward out of there, so it can be kind of complicated. It's nice to just have an HT, boom, you go. And again, you need a computer to configure all this stuff. The open spot stuff is neat. Little DV megas. If you really want to play, you can get these little SDRs. If you just want to, these are $20. You plug them in, and you can pick off DMR if you just want to hear what it sounds like. So that's kind of neat too. We went through this. I'll take questions outside the room because Rob's presentation's next. I encourage you to stay. If you've never played with FL Digi or some of the digital modes like JT65, or JT65, you need little power to make that stuff work. So, and you're communicating worldwide, so it's kind of neat. They'll cover some of that. There's some links. I'll put this on TMRA's website. So there's all kinds of links depending on DMR Fusion. Again, see me after. We can chit-chat if you need help. Thank you. There's stuff up here if you want to look over it. DMR's, dummy manual and D-Star for idiots, that kind of stuff right up here too.
I would like to have